Today we're going to learn how to write linear equations. We've been doing a lot with these. We've been graphing with them, we've been solving for their intercepts, and today we're going to learn how to write them. Let's look at our first problem. Write the equation of a line with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of -5. This problem is not that challenging if we remember that we have our slope-intercept form. I look at y equals mx plus b. I want to make this into a linear equation with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of -5. It should go pretty smoothly. I know that m is my slope, and the slope for this problem is supposed to be -2. So I'm going to get y equals -2x. We also know that b is our y-intercept, and this is supposed to be a y-intercept of -5. So I'm going to be adding a -5. Now I would rewrite this equation to get rid of this plus and negative, and you might have already done that immediately on your paper. But we'll get a final answer of y equals 2x minus 5, and we've successfully written a linear equation with a slope of -2 and a y-intercept of -5. You will also want to be able to write a linear equation for a graph. So I want to write an equation for the line shown. Well, to write that equation, I need to know, again, with our y equals mx plus b, what is m, or what is my slope, and what is b, or what is the y-intercept. Well, looking at this graph, I can tell where it meets the y-axis. It meets right here at +2. So I'm going to write up my equation again. I'm going to leave space for my slope. I'm going to go add 2 for my +2 y-intercept. Now I need to figure out what is the slope of this line. Well, I know that slope equals the rise over the run, so I'm going to see what the rise is. To get from one dot to the next on my line, I need to go up 2 and over 3. So that gives me a rise of 2 and a run of 3. Rise over run gives me a slope of 2/3. So I get y equals 2/3 x plus 2. So I have successfully written an equation for a line that was graphed. And again, it's always good to check. 2/3 x, that's a positive slope. And if I look at my line quickly and carefully here, I'll notice that it is going in an upwards direction or a positive direction. So I'm going to make a good guess that at least I made sure my line was going in the right direction. It's a good way to check. If you had a negative slope and it was going in an upwards direction, then you would know that something had gone wrong. Let's take a look at our next problem. Write an equation for a parallel line to y equals 8x that passes through the point 0, 3. Well, for a parallel line, I'm going to write my y equals mx plus b so I can be looking at it while I'm doing this problem. For a parallel line, I know that means that the slope is the same, and the slope is the coefficient of x in the linear equation. So in this example, it's going to be 8. I know that since it's parallel, it has to have the same slope, so I'm going to write out my equation with a y equals 8x. Now, I need to figure out what the y-intercept is for my equation. Well, I know that it passes through the point 0, 3. And if I were to plot that on a graph, I would find that that is a point on the y-axis. So this point happens to be the y-intercept. That means that my b, or my y-intercept, is 3. So I get y equals 8x plus 3. And that is a parallel line to y equals 8x because it has the same slope that passes through the point 0, 3, as that is the y-intercept of that graph. So we get y equals 8x plus 3. My next problem, we're going to try to write an equation for a perpendicular line to y equals -1/2 x plus 3 that passes through the point 0, -5. Well, for a perpendicular line, I can remember by going back and checking my notes, or by going back and watching the video for that that the slope is going to be the negative reciprocal of the slope for that line, or the opposite reciprocal. The slope for this line is the coefficient of x, or negative 1/2. Now I want to find the slope for the perpendicular line. Well, I need to take the reciprocal of 1/2, which equals 2. And I want to take the opposite of it. Well, this is a negative 1/2, so the slope for my new line is going to be a positive. So it's going to be n equals 2. I'm going to start to write out my equation. Y equals 2x. And now I need to find the y-intercept. Well, I know this line that I'm creating has to pass through the point 0, -5. Again, if I were to graph that, I would find that 0, -5 will be on the y-axis. So that is going to be the y-intercept of that graph. So my b is going to be -5. I'm going to write out as plus a -5. You may have already jumped to it on your notes, but when we officially write out our problem, we want to do y equals 2x minus 5. And that is the linear equation of a line that is perpendicular to this line but passes through the point 0, -5. That's it for today. Good luck on your homework.